January 25th, Jim Shoemaker.
When opportunity knocks, step up. Jim was one of 2 plumbers in the area, and as usual, he was swamped with work. But when he heard an elderly couple were hauling water from the church, he decided it was time for a visit. Jim had met the couple. The man had severe chronic obstructive pulmonary disease known as COPD. And his wife had spent her days taking care of him. Their only income was a small disability check. When he sat with them in their living room, Jim said, "We've missed you at Sunday services. I wanted to come by and check on you and let you know that you have been missed." Jim continued, "I couldn't help but see the water jugs on the counter. Are you having water problems?" The man explained that a winter storm had frozen their water pipes. They burst and the water heater element had burned out. The elderly man told Jim that they had hired a plumber to do the work, and he promised a good deal on the labor, but he had asked for the money in advance. They gave him their last penny, but he skipped town the same day. The elderly man said he knew better than to pay the repairman in advance, but they were in such a desperate situation, he had ignored his better judgment. Jim's anger burned. How could anyone be so heartless as to take advantage of an elderly couple struggling to make ends meet? Jim said, "I'd like to check the pipes and see exactly what's needed to make the repairs. I already know where I can get a good deal on a water heater." The man began to shake his head. But Jim said, "I will not take no for an answer. The Lord has blessed me so I can be a blessing to others." But the man replied, "What will your wife say? We don't want to cause trouble for you at home." Jim knew from similar situations his wife Pat would support whatever they decided to do to help the couple. Jim was so adamant the man and his wife realized it was pointless to argue with him. Jim worked 4 12-hour days and finished the job. He salvaged what he could of the old pipes and was able to get a used water heater for $300. When Jim was done, he praised God for giving him the ability and financial means to help others who weren't so fortunate as he. He then told the man's wife the job was finished and she could turn the water on. Her eyes filled with tears, but this time they were tears of joy. As Jim got into his car to leave, the man hollered, "Brother Jim, we will see you at church this Sunday." Jim waved and drove off. Later, the pastor phoned and said the church would pay the bill. That didn't sit right. The bill would have to go to some committee and be voted on by the congregation. The whole church would know Jim's friend's business. Jim let the pastor know he wouldn't be delivering a bill. This was a private matter, and it was done. The Bible tells us in 1 John chapter 3, verse 17, "If anyone has material possessions and sees a brother or sister in need, but has no pity on them, how can the love of God be in that person?" Your skill is a God-given resource. Be ready to use it. When opportunity knocks, step up.
Hello men, great books coming to you from Denver, Colorado. Today is January 25th and Joe Shoemaker. I love 365 Christian men for bringing stories like this to us. This is not a famous person, but man does he have a godly walk. Everything about this story screams obedience. This is the type of walk that Jesus asks us to follow. He saw a need. He used his righteous anger and his righteous authority, saying that God has blessed him so he could bless others, and appealed to this couple to let him help. He was able to solve their problem, fill their need, and he wanted no credit in return, even was thoughtful enough not to draw attention to them and their problems. So today's challenge is pretty much right in our face, gentlemen. What skills or resources can we use to help others? And are our hearts and our eyes open for those opportunities to step in? Blessings.